Good afternoon. My name is Greg Gadowski. I'm the Information Management Coordinator for Region 1 of IEEE. I also serve as the Section Chair for the Rochester section of IEEE. I often get asked questions about how do I go about setting up a meeting and having it appear on the calendar on our web pages. And this is something that is really important not only to the Rochester section, but to all sections across Region 1. I'm going to give you a brief tutorial on how to do this, and hopefully at the end of this 15-minute tutorial, you'll have a good idea as to how you can put meeting notices within the Vtools system of IEEE. Before I begin, it often helps to have a representative flyer of the type of meeting that you're trying to run. In this case, I have an example of a meeting that we're holding here in Rochester, shown here on the right. The Word document for the Rochester Joint Chapter meeting. If you have a similar document, go ahead and open it, and we'll kind of step through this process together to help you get through the process of getting your meeting within the notification system. It also helps if you have pictures and so forth stored on your computer, not just in this Word document, but stored in your computer that can be loaded into the system, as this makes your meeting notification look far more attractive. So again, 15 minutes, and hopefully we'll have you on the road to filing meeting notifications more regularly in the near future. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to start right at the portal for Vtools for their meeting notification system. You'll see the web page located on the screen at the bottom. If you haven't already re-navigated your web page to that particular address, pause this video right now and load this web page, and then restart, and we'll get going moving forward. Okay, hopefully by now you've navigated to the web page. The first thing that you really want to do is you want to make sure that you sign in to Vtools. So you'll see here on the left a welcome message. And if it's asking you to sign in, you'll really want to do that before you go ahead and create any meeting notifications. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in for myself. And you'll know that you've successfully logged in if it places your name next to welcome in this upper left-hand corner. If you haven't, then you need to figure out how to log into the Vtools system before going any further. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a new meeting entry that is schedule a meeting, shown right here as the third item on this web page. If you click that, it will bring up all of the fields that you need to complete in order for your meeting notification to be filed properly. I'm going to go ahead and cut and paste some of these. We'll talk about them as we go, but this is usually a pretty quick process if you have a flyer like I have on the right hand side. The first thing we're going to copy is the event title. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste that into the first field, which is the event title. The next field is really the category, and the category is important. So when each of your sections receives its rebate, it's based on a certain number of technical meetings, and this is the flag which designates if you're doing a professional meeting, a technical meeting, or any other type of meeting that you might execute through IEEE. So if you do the pull-down menu, you'll see a lot of the different types of meetings you can have. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to list this one as a professional meeting. The next thing that turns red is the event subcategory, shown here to the right. And so that's the type of professional meeting that I'm going to be having, and in this case it'll be a professional development meeting, but you'll see there are several options for that. And now I'm going to type in a description for the meeting. I don't have anything in handy for this in particular, so I can just type something here if I don't have something on my Word document. So for example, the purpose of this meeting is to invite the best engineers in the Rochester area to network. Hopefully you can type better than I can. All right, so you'll notice that I can change whether this is bolded, I can change the color, I can change whether it's bulleted or not. A lot of different formatting things. They're pretty self-explanatory. Go ahead and experiment with those to get this to look the way that you'd like it to look. I'm going to leave it as is for now. The next is the agenda of the meeting, and so if you're having a networking session, or you're having hors d'oeuvres, or you're having technical meetings, all of which we're having in this meeting, you might want to create an agenda so that when someone pulls up this meeting, they'll have a better sense of when to come for particular aspects of your meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to paste it into the agenda. And in this case, I'm going to use the browser to paste an equivalent with a match to the current style. So that'll be somewhat similar to what I had in my Word document. You'll see the formatting here is still not entirely great, so I'm going to quickly edit this so it looks a little cleaner. And again, you can do this as much or as little as you want. You may want it, to look really colorful. You just do whatever you'd like it, whatever you like, so that it matches the style that you prefer for your section. But again, here I'm just going to quickly edit these because I want them all to look a little cleaner. And as an example, I might want to bullet these. So if I highlight all of these and I click on bullets, the bullet list here, you'll see now they're all bulletized. I guess that's a word. And that looks pretty clean. I'm pretty happy with that. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. Now the next thing is the meeting picture. Now you don't have to have pictures, but you'll see they make the meeting notification look far more attractive. And these have to be located on your computer. So if you hit the item called Choose File, it'll pull up the search mechanism on your particular computer. I happen to have the picture stored on my computer and already kind of located to the proper location. I like to use for the meeting notification the headers of our section because everybody's familiar with it, and that quickly orients them to it being a Rochester meeting. Now you'll see that the picture doesn't immediately appear here. It's really just figuring out where the file is, and it's going to load that when you create the meeting. So don't panic if you don't see the picture here right now. It'll show up later, and if it doesn't, we can always correct that later on as well. The next field is meeting keywords. Now in this case, it would be the joint chapter meeting, so that a user could look that up. We have joint chapter meetings every year, so that makes it easy to find. You might put in words like Kodak, because this is a person from Kodak who's giving a presentation on the IMAX. But you can continue to add words in here that are searchable, so that if someone is looking for a particular type of event, they can find it in your section or from a different section. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to fill out are the fields that are related to when the meeting is going to occur. Also a fairly straightforward procedure. You'll see these fields here highlighted in kind of a cyan color. If you want to change the start time, you'll click on the little calendar icon immediately to the right of the start time. That will pull up a small calendar. This meeting is on the 19th. It happens to start at 4 p.m. Once you've changed the date and the time, go ahead and hit OK right at the lower right-hand portion of this calendar entry system. So now you'll see that I have the correct start time for that particular meeting. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the end time. In this case, it goes from 4 till 9 p.m. And now I'm OK. Now, some meetings will have a registration period. You may want to keep track of that, and the meeting notification system will do that. I'll create a different tutorial for that so that we can show you how to do that, but for the purposes of this particular training module, we're going to skip that for now and just click the little here button to disable registration. Okay, it's also important to denote the time zone of your meeting. Keep in mind, IEEE is across the world, so you really have to pick United States and Eastern time. That will be close to the bottom for Region 1. It should look something like this. Okay. The next fields, highlighted here in yellow, are where is the meeting going to be. Now, this is also really important because the address you put in here, both the street address and the city and state, are going to allow the map to be created which precisely locates your event. Okay, so kind of critical. You can put in just the city and the state, but then it'll just locate to that city. It's sometimes nice to have a map which actually shows you where exactly the event is going to be. All right, so in this case, I know the event is at the RAT Inn and Conference Center, so we'll put that in as the building. Okay, and the address is 5257 West Henrietta Road. If you happen to have a second address line, you could fill that in. This will be in Rochester, and it will be, now you'll have to fill in the country and the state. So the first thing is the country. So you'll pull down United States. And the next one will be the state. That will be New York in this case. And the postal code, which is 14618. Now there are a few other fields in here that you could fill out. All right, so if you had a different map URL, you could put that in. If you wanted to have your meeting somewhere exotic, like at the top of a mountain, you could actually put in the latitude and longitude of that coordinate where you want people to meet, and that would override the calendar. So again, different ways of getting the map to locate a person to your event. But the easiest way to do this is to enter in really the address, the full address of the building that you're going to have the event at. All right, the next field, highlighted in a slightly reddish color shown here, is who is the meeting for and who are the speakers. All right, and so this will depend a little bit on your privileges and ability to log meetings in through IEEE. Most of you will be within Region 1, so the only option for Region 1, the only option for region will actually be 1. It won't be something you can change. Depending on which section you're in. I'm in the Rochester section, so this happens to show Rochester, but it will show the sections that you're able to register meetings in. So if you're in one of the other sections in Region 1, it's likely to only show your particular section. So just keep that in mind. Organizational unit. Now the organizational unit might be the community within your section or within the region that you're trying to set up the meeting for. So in this case, this meeting is for the section. However, you could target this meeting to the Computer Engineering Society, to EMBS, to Life members, to Photonics. All of your chapters will be listed mnemonically in this pull-down menu, and hopefully you will recognize them. There are sometimes a little cryptic. So for example, EMB 18 is our Engineering and Medicine and Biology Society. I recognize it with just the straightforward 3 letters. Most of the time these are intuitive, but if you're wondering what the number is, that's just a code which identifies that particular chapter or society. So again, I'm going to select section. So your 3 boxes should look something like this after you have filled them out. Now you will have to put in a contact email. I usually put in the contact email of the person filing the meeting. In this case, that would be me. Do not use my email address in your meeting. Please use your own. And you can add other contact information such as a phone number, another web page, and so forth. You can limit the number of registrations so that if you have a fixed number of seats, you could go ahead and do that. I happen to know that I can only have 80 people in this meeting at this point in time, so I'm going to go ahead and put 80 there. That will limit the number of people that could register for your meeting if you set that up. Now I'm going to also add information about the keynote speaker. That's really important. That's what's going to draw the person to this particular meeting. So you do want to enter in information related to the speaker if you have one. When you click on that first speaker information, it'll pull up all of the fields related to the speaker. So the first of which is the topic, and that is usually the title of the presentation. In this case, it's the IMAX laser projection system from zero to insane in under 2 years. Yes, it's going to be a fun meeting. The description is really the abstract of that talk. And so I will go ahead and copy that from my Word document and paste that there. And again, here's another circumstance where you can modify the format quite a bit. You can change the color, the size, bulleted items, really just make it the way you'd like it to look. Okay, now I'm going to add in the name of the speaker. In this case, it's Barry Silverstein, who I happen to know also has a PhD. The display name is how do you want that speaker to kind of be referred to in the meeting notification. I usually just refer to it as the person's full name. So in that case, I'm going to paste Barry Silverstein there. All right. URL, if you had a Facebook page, or if the person had a LinkedIn page, or if there was a faculty page that told you more about that person and what they have accomplished, you can paste that in here now, and then when somebody comes and looks at the meeting notification system, they can actually go find out more information about your keynote presenter. It's not necessarily crucial. I'm not going to add it in this case, but it can be a nice thing to add to talk more about the speaker. You could also add things like the address, the location of the company, his email address. Again, not particularly necessary. Sometimes speakers don't want that information out there. So it's really up to your discretion as to whether you'd like to add it. The one thing that I do like to add is a very short biography of the speaker, and that I do feel is important because that can attract more people to your meeting. And again, I just usually copy and paste that direct from the flyer that I'm given into this field. Again, you can adjust the font, the size, the color, bulleted items, and so forth to your heart's desire. This person happened to work at Kodak, so I'm going to just put Kodak in for the organization. And now the final thing is really the speaker photograph. And I do like to put photographs of the speaker if I have them, because that makes it a little bit more personalized, and people do tend to look at it a little bit longer if there's more content like this. So I am going to just choose a picture that I have for Barry and add it there. Again, you're not going to see the photo right now. You'll see it after you create the meeting notification. Right now, it's just going to tell you where the file is located. You could add a second speaker if you had one. The last part of this is really a header and a footer. If you wanted to add in more information above and below your meeting notification system, you could do that. Generally speaking, I don't have anything like that. So we're going to just leave that as is. Now, if you had food at the meal, food at the event, you could also add in menu selections. I think we have salmon at this event, as well as a steak. It's one of our better, more popular meetings, but you could keep adding those and adding menu selections until you've completed all of your selections. At this point, we're done. All that is left and needed to do is to hit the create button to log the event, and so we're going to go ahead and do that. And now you can see that the meeting has been successfully created. However, this particular web page frustrates me a little bit because when it comes up, it just tells you that the meeting has been created, or it tells you which fields you haven't filled in properly. But I'd actually like to go back and take a look at that meeting and see what it looks like. And the easiest way to do that is to click on this button here for upcoming meetings from my section. So watch what will happen when I click that. And now you'll see all of the events that have been created for our section. And the event that I just created is located here. I've done this a few times already, but we'll go ahead and click on that and you can see what it looks like. Okay, there you go. So there is your meeting notification. It actually doesn't look too bad for a first shot. Here you can see the agenda, information about the speaker. You can see a map now that points you to the location of the event, which is really nice. There are some interesting formatting issues that I might go back and correct, and you can easily do that at the bottom just by hitting edit. Now if I hit edit, it'll bring up that same window, and you can change and modify things in here to look any way you want, and then hit change, and hopefully it'll update it. So I seem to have a little bit of an issue here with the picture, but I would continue editing that until it looked the way I wanted it to look. But overall, this is good. We're all set. And this, the beauty of completing a meeting notification like this is that now when you go to your web pages or to the region web pages, you'll see here I have a calendar system that tells you about all of the events that are coming up in the region. You know, that is done automatically from Vtools, which is precisely the reason why you need to do this. You don't have to call me and say, Greg, can you add an event to the calendar on the web pages? This is directly loaded from Vtools, and it happens about every 15 minutes. And so you would be able to see this meeting very clearly in the next 10-15 minutes appear under April 19th. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what happens when I click on one of these events on the calendar. And you'll see this is stuff that already got uploaded for this particular event from Vtools. Nothing special had to be done. And if I wanted to look and see what the original one looked like, at the very bottom you'll see a little button here called View Original. Now if I click on that, that will go to Vtools and it'll pull up what you entered in. So this is a different event entered in by one of the New Jersey sections. And you can see they've done a really nice job here. They've got a nice abstract, they've got information about the speaker, a nice picture of the speaker, a nice map of where the event is going to be located. And this is really exactly what we want to see. So if you get to this point, everybody is happy, but hopefully by now you can better appreciate why entering your meetings into Vtools is so essential. Nothing needs to be done. These then appear on the calendar systems. You don't have to contact anyone else, and you're really good to go. The only other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to send an email message to all of your members so that they know that they should come to the meeting. And I'll tell you about that in an upcoming tutorial, which also talks about how Vtools can be used to send messages to your members. But for now, we're good to go. I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial, and hopefully you're able to now create your own meeting notification system entries. And if you need to contact me, please contact me at the email address immediately after this presentation. I'd be happy to answer any other further questions you might have on this tutorial or on the Vtools system for entering in meeting notifications. Take care. Goodbye.